All right, everybody, welcome into 2024 election results in the swing state of Pennsylvania. 19 electoral votes. It was a major prize on the map. You needed to win Pennsylvania to win the presidency. Right here, according to statistician Nate Silver, the state's winner was estimated to have a 90% chance of winning the presidency. And major news organizations marked it as a toss-up in lead up to the election. Yeah, it was very hard to predict. There was many polls out that said it was Kamala +2, Trump +1, dead even. And that's really what it felt like going into it. And being 19 electoral votes, being such a big part of that 270, is probably the most talked about and newsworthy state in that cycle of campaigns in 2024 and in polling. It went to Trump by about 1.4%. Of course, it went to Biden in 2020 by about 80,000 votes. Let's go ahead and look at our swing states here. As you can see, Pennsylvania was pretty safely blue. It was part of that blue wall with its WIMPA counterparts, Wisconsin and Michigan here, where it went blue for 6 straight cycles, and then went to Trump narrowly in 2016. It then went back to Biden by 1%, and then Trump by 1.7% in 2024. It was one of our lower margins of victory in 2024 as far as our swing states. Georgia, Arizona, North Carolina, Nevada had higher margins of victory. So I don't see our WIMPA states going anywhere soon as being swing states and as being tight states in the 2028, 2032 elections and so on. Pennsylvania was extremely interesting. Let's first analyze some exit polls. Let's see if we can find anything in the demographics or what you were registered as here to see how it went. So here's PA in 2020, their exit polls. Let's look at this. Male breakdown, 55% to 44% in favor of Republican, and exactly flipped 55 to 44 in favor of female. A big change, though, is female 53% of correspondents, male 47%. So not quite down the middle there, a little bit more female. Let's look at 2024. Scroll down here. Okay. We widened the gap quite a bit. 58% for Republicans and Trump by men in Pennsylvania. It went up a slight little bit for women, 56% now compared to 55%. Just 41% of men supporting the Democratic Party, though, compared to 44% here. So Pennsylvania showing some strides here of data where, hey, we can point to something to say what might have helped Trump win this election. Let's keep going down, though. White respondents, 56% for Trump in 2024. Let's go ahead and check what it is in 2020. Wow. So white support went down. White support actually went down a little bit. Okay. 42 to 57. And in 2024, 44 to 56. So it actually went up for Democrats and down for Republicans. That doesn't make sense with our results. Wow. Okay. 89% black going Democrat, 10% black going Republican. Let's check with 2020. Okay, seeing some telling data here. 92% of blacks in Pennsylvania voted for Democrats, 7% voted for Republican in 2020. So Trump got some favorable or better numbers with blacks. Let's keep looking here. Hispanic and Latino. So 59% of Latinos going Democrat in 2024. 41%. That seems kind of high. Wow. Okay, 69%, 10% better in 2020 for Democrats, 27% for Republicans, up to 41. We might have just found it, folks. Wow, 6%. That's a pretty nice chunk, too. 6% to 5%. So you had more Latinos voting in this exit poll and showing a higher percentage for Republican by 14%. I mean, that is huge. It's like a 50% increase in support for Trump in 2024. The Latino vote in Pennsylvania definitely helped Trump. Wow. Huge numbers there. Black a little bit. White actually worse. And we've associated white with typically being more conservative Republican. Wow, the Latino vote. Okay, big time. Let's look at what mattered in Pennsylvania to voters. As you can see here, issues that decided the 2024 election in Pennsylvania. These are not good for Democrats. 43% on economy, 20% for immigration. These three right here, climate, healthcare, abortion. didn't take up enough of the pie. These three right here, Democrats typically are polling better with average Americans, saying they trust them more with healthcare, climate, and abortion, as opposed to Republicans. Whereas immigration and economy, Trump was more trusted in the polls versus Kamala. And for that to be the biggest issue, I mean, that's 63% of the issue, abortion, healthcare, and climate combining for 26%, not even half. I mean, that's just not going to get it done. And the Pennsylvania voters must have voted that way. So let's compare Pennsylvania in 2024. This is a huge number. The Latino support for Trump with the national exit polls. So men and women looks very similar. Okay, white, again, a little bit down in Pennsylvania. Black, 86% Democrat, 89% Democrat. So actually a little bit better for liberals in Pennsylvania. 51% for Latinos. 59%. Wow. So actually, national exit polls wise, Pennsylvania seems more to the left. Okay. I guess that makes a little bit of sense because it's such a tight margin, 1.7%, whereas a lot of other states were going by bigger margins. Wow, but that is actually pretty shocking. How about something I like to look at? Independence. Independent or something else. 49% of votes went Democrat. Okay, let's now look at Pennsylvania specifically. Wow. Independents and the Hispanic population, I think. 52% of independents went for Trump. Wow. What did they go for in 2020? Let's see here. 44%. Okay, I think we've stumbled upon something. So the independent and Latino vote. So 52% of people that identified as independents voted Democrat in 2020. Only 45% of them voted Democrat in 2024, and it went up to 52% for Republicans, where it was at 44%. So 8% swing, big. National average, 46% of independents were voting for Republican. In Pennsylvania, it was 52%. So wow, the independent vote was pretty huge. Moderate looks interesting, 56 to 43. Let's see if there's any national polls on that. Moderate. 58% of moderates went blue nationally. 56% went blue in Pennsylvania. It's not a huge difference. Wow. Okay. Independents and Hispanics in Pennsylvania. That is crazy. Let's look at a breakdown, though, by county. Let's talk about some of the big counties. So the 5 biggest counties in Pennsylvania, I'm going in reverse order. Delaware County is the 5th biggest. And let's look at Delaware County. So Trump loses this quite significantly. Kamala Harris gets 61% of the vote. Let's check in 2020 what Joe Biden got. Right there. Okay, Joe Biden got 62% of the vote. So a little over 1% down. Not going to make a huge difference. I mean, a state decided by 120,000 votes, but not going to make a huge difference. Let's keep looking here. 2024. What is the 4th biggest? It is Bucks County. Let's look at Bucks. And, went to Trump. 49.39%. That's good to get a big county like that for Trump. That probably helped him quite a bit. Bucks County, 51.53%. So Bucks County went down 2 points in support of Kamala Harris. It's probably a big deal, especially to swing a county like that that's extremely high population, 397,000. Let's look at the 3rd biggest county, Montgomery County, in 2020. I'm assuming this one went to Biden. This is a Philly suburb. 62.41% to Biden. Well, Delaware County, Bucks County, Montgomery County are all Philadelphia suburbs, just for your information. So it goes 62.41% to Biden. Let's check it in 2024. And 60.62%. Okay, so it went down 2%. So that in Bucks went down a little bit. Okay, so that could be telling. And again, massive amount of votes being casted here. 317,000 votes for Kamala in 2024. Let's see what Biden got. 319,000. Okay, so I mean, not a huge difference. Let's keep looking. Allegheny County, that's where Pittsburgh is. Pretty liberal there. A little bit less than those other counties. 59.4% for Kamala in 2020. Let's see what Joe Biden got. Extremely close. Wow. Basically nothing changed. Let's skip Allegheny County. Philadelphia County, the most liberal. 81.21% for Biden. Huge number there. I mean, look at the amount of votes here. 604,000 votes. 2020 for Biden. Let's go to Philadelphia County. 78.57. It's down 2.5%. And you could be saying, oh, that might not be a big deal. But, I mean, we're talking a difference here. Kamala got 568,000 votes. Biden got 604,000. And voter turnout in Pennsylvania actually improved. Yeah, it went up in 2024. So Philadelphia County, in a state that was decided by 80,000 votes in 2020, probably made a huge difference in 2024. 35,000 votes or so going more towards Trump than they did for him in 2020. Super interesting there. I was reading that Trump did a lot better in the northeast and eastern part of the state. If you break down Pennsylvania, these counties to the west and on the left of the screen here are less Hispanic, and as you move more eastern across the state, it does get more Hispanic. So that's actually starting to add up with these numbers up here, where we showed that Hispanics had kind of maybe driven this result of 41% going to Trump. Because if we look at our map here, we can see it's pretty red. Not many counties that are blue. Here's the Philly suburbs being blue, makes sense. Northeast PA, this is actually Lackawanna County where Joe Biden's from. Allegheny County, Pittsburgh, middle of the county, center county is pretty liberal. Harrisburg, again, another Democratic stronghold. But most of the state is red. Let's look at 2020's map. If we could scroll up here. Let's go look at Pennsylvania. As you can see, a couple more counties on this eastern side that are blue. Look, compare this with this. These counties are red this time. So very interesting, very telling. If we look at 2020, Biden being able to win it. Let's go to the bi-county results here for a second. So in 2016, Erie, which is a big county, as we can see here, if we scroll up, Erie gets about 137,000 votes cast. Definitely a big deal. Flipped to Democrat. And Northampton County, which is kind of proven to be a bellwether in the state, it's on the eastern side of the state, went blue as well after going Republican in 2016. So Trump needed to regain these to win in 2024. And if we look at the bi-county results, counties that flipped, that he certainly did. He got Northampton to flip, Monroe County, which is up in the eastern, like up here in the northeastern part of the state, Erie County to flip, which is over here, and Bucks County, which is, we talked about that, I believe the third most populous county in the state, to flip down in the Philly suburbs. So those were all monumental wins for Trump, and I think a lot of that was driven by the Hispanic population on the eastern side of the state of Pennsylvania. There was a comment on one of my first videos, a great comment, and I love when you guys comment things. It helps the channel. Someone commented about, could you analyze the Amish vote in Pennsylvania? Well, certainly. Pennsylvania, out of all the states in the country, I think has the most Amish people, has about between 80 and 90,000. And about 38,000 of them are here in Lancaster County. And Lancaster County is trends Republican. It went 57% for Trump in 2024. And in 2020, again, this is the big chunk of Lancaster County, or of Pennsylvania's Amish population, 56.94%. So it went up 0.26%, but I'm not sure the theory of the Amish vote, while it is interesting, really drove numbers to get Trump reelected in 2024, if that makes sense. It's not like Lancaster County went to 63% Republican, and then maybe you could say there's some correlation with the Amish vote coming out in Lancaster County, but I'm not really so sure of that. Another county that I thought was very interesting, as we look here, Lackawanna County up here, a Democratic stronghold, certainly has went there in the last multiple election cycles. Lackawanna County is home to Scranton, which, as we all know, Joe Biden is from. So it's very interesting. In 2020, Biden gets 53.58% of the vote in Lackawanna County. Trump gets 45%, loses by about 9,000 votes. Fast forward to 2024, if we look by county, scroll down here in Lackawanna County, very tight. Trump lost by 8 points. He's now losing here by just a little over 2 points. He gets 4,000 more votes. Kamala gets less, 50.9 to 48.12. So this could be a county that we should be keeping our eye on, that if this starts to flip in 2028, or if the separation gets bigger to where a Democratic candidate can get it back to the Biden numbers, it could not. Pennsylvania could be very shifting depending on this small county that has been Democratic, but it seems like whichever way it gets pulled might decide and show where elections are going in the state. Just for example, out of my curiosity, let's check 2016 where Trump won. I want to know what he got in Lackawanna County in 2016. Wow, tight. Yeah, 3%. Trump loses it by 3%, wins the state overall. Let's see what he won it by. He wins the state overall by about 0.5, 0.6 or so. Then Biden, maybe because he's a hometown kid, gets the boost in 2020, is able to get the separation by 8 points. And I think that might have helped drive home his win. Again, not a huge county, 115,000 total votes cast, but that matters, certainly. So super interesting there as we look at Lackawanna County maybe deciding elections in Pennsylvania moving forward, although it's not a big one. But it could be something we point to. Northampton County is definitely considered a bellwether at this point. Trump had to win it in 2016 to get reelected, 171,000 total votes cast. Erie County, another one. Northampton and Erie, they both went Trump 2016 and Trump won. Then they went Biden in 2020, Biden won, and they went 2020 in 2024. They went for Trump, Trump won. So that's sort of showing to be a bellwether. 137,000 total votes cast. There wasn't a ton in Pennsylvania to go off of because just there is a ton, if that makes sense. Nearly all precincts, here's Philadelphia, 82% of precincts in Philadelphia region shifted towards Trump. Trump improved in his 2020 vote percentage in nearly all precincts in Pennsylvania, except those where he already received more than 80% of support in 2020. So you can see this graph here. 1.6 points average for each. All these dots are precincts. The Trump vote percentage in 2024 just went up much so since the 2020 vote percentage. So Pennsylvania as a whole just kind of went red. There was a lot of shift. I don't know if there weren't really many counties that Trump lost support in or lost percentage of the vote. He actually gained in most of them, and especially in big counties like Philly, that really matters. I had a feeling that this could happen. In my map, I predicted Trump to win Pennsylvania, and a big reason for that was if you rewind to 2020, okay, the Democrats had a voter registration lead of about 685,000 registered voters over Republicans. By the time we got to October 2024, if you fast forward, that number was down to 325,000. Now, that doesn't always play out, right? And you can go watch my North Carolina election analysis video. I talk about this. North Carolina actually has a higher number of registered Democrats, which is very surprising because it's went red since 2012 and all the presidential cycles. So it doesn't always mean that the amount of registered voters will decide elections, but 300,000, I mean, almost half of it changing from 685 to 325 is a big tell in a state that was only decided by 80,000 and then 120,000 votes in 2024. So there was definitely a trend in Pennsylvania that was getting more Republican, getting more red. And I just remember this point to kind of jump back on the Amish and Hispanic thing. Lancaster County, which went up a little bit, is 10% Latino. Again, there's about 290,000 votes cast here. It's about 37,000 Amish people in Lancaster County, so a big part of the population. But it's also 10% Hispanic. And I think just that little bit, it goes up by 0.26% in Lancaster County towards Trump, shows that kind of naturally slow progression that the Republican Party is making with the Hispanic vote across the state and as they move eastern in the state. So Pennsylvania was a super, super interesting state to analyze. We'll be moving into some other types of content, moving off the swing states, moving forward. But you can go ahead and watch all my other swing state videos and the videos on the channel. I love doing deep dives of this on specific states and talking about why they went the way they did. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment something negative or positive. I don't mind. Love the discussion in there, and thanks for watching, everyone.